He was born Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus, a name heavy with expectation, but history would remember him by the nickname given by his father's troops, Caligula, Little Boot. His childhood was a masterclass in terror under Emperor Tiberius. He saw his mother, Agrippina, and his brothers exiled and starved to death for treason. Sent to Tiberius's debauched court on Capri, the boy learned the darkest secrets of power, survival, and cruelty from a decaying tyrant. When Tiberius died in 37 AD, Rome erupted in joy. The young, charismatic son of the war hero Germanicus was emperor, seen as a savior. His first acts were generous. He gave lavish bonuses to the army, recalled political exiles, and hosted spectacular games. He honored his murdered family, publicly mourning his mother and brothers, further endearing himself to the Roman people. But just months into his reign, Caligula fell gravely ill. A violent fever gripped him, and Rome held its breath. He survived, but the man who emerged was unrecognizable. The people's prince was gone, replaced by something dark. His first political murder was his cousin and co-heir, Tiberius Gemellus, executed on a fabricated charge of treason. His father-in-law, Marcus Silanus, was forced to commit suicide simply because Caligula feared his political influence. He declared himself a living god, ordering a temple for his worship with a life-sized gold statue dressed in his clothes. He redirected traditional religious ceremonies to worship himself, demanding sacrifices be made to his divine spirit. He systematically humiliated the Senate, forcing elderly senators to run for miles in their togas alongside his chariot. His cruelty was psychological. At a feast he laughed, saying, "I've just realized I only have to give one signal and you'll all have your throats cut." When a man vowed to die in the arena if the emperor recovered, Caligula held him to his word, forcing him to fight to the death. When prisons were empty of criminals for arena games, he ordered sections of the audience seized and thrown to wild beasts. He found novel executions. Families were killed together, parents forced to watch their children die first. He reportedly complained that Roman torture methods were too quick, demanding his victims suffer for longer periods. His most famous act of insanity was his horse, Incitatus. He gave it a marble stable and planned to appoint it as a consul. He allegedly hosted formal dinner parties for the horse, with senators forced to attend as the animal's guests of honor. Needing money, he launched a farcical military campaign to the English Channel, ordering troops to collect seashells as spoils of war. He lined his legions up on the beach and ordered them to attack the ocean itself, declaring war on the sea god Neptune. His spending was legendary. He built 2 gigantic pleasure ships for Lake Nemi with marble floors and heated baths. To prove a soothsayer wrong, he built a 2-mile floating bridge of ships and rode Incitatus across it wearing Alexander the Great's breastplate. He turned murder into business, forcing wealthy men to name him as their heir, then executing them for treason. He humiliated the elite by forcing the wives of senators to work in a brothel he established within the imperial palace, turning their status into a public spectacle. He shattered all Roman taboos, showing extreme favoritism towards his sister Drusilla. He honored her with unprecedented privileges, even suggesting she should succeed him, which scandalized Roman society. He would post new laws in small handwriting high on pillars, then prosecute people for breaking rules they couldn't read. He invented bizarre taxes, including one on the earnings of unmarried women and another on the food sold in public cookshops. He systematically confiscated the estates of wealthy citizens, often on fabricated charges, to fund his extravagant spending. Within just 1 year, he completely exhausted the vast treasury of 2.7 billion sesterces that Tiberius had accumulated. His vanity projects included transporting Egyptian obelisks across the Mediterranean on specially built ships. He cruelly mocked Praetorian tribune Cassius Chaerea for his supposedly effeminate voice, giving him offensive passwords. After 4 years of terror, a conspiracy solidified. The Praetorian Guard joined with humiliated senators. The god had to die. On January 24th, 41 AD, as he was leaving the Palatine Games through a secluded corridor, the conspirators made their move. The first blow was struck by the humiliated Chaerea. They stabbed him over 30 times, shouting, "Strike again," as they killed him. The purge was thorough. His wife Caesonia was stabbed to death while clutching their baby daughter. To secure the new regime, the assassins ensured no heir survived. The life of his baby daughter, Julia Drusilla, was swiftly and ruthlessly ended. In the chaos, the Praetorians found Caligula's uncle, the scholar Claudius, hiding behind a curtain in terror. Seeing opportunity, the guards declared the frightened man the new emperor, proving the empire could outlive any madman. The Senate ordered his name chiseled from monuments, a damnatio memoriae, to erase the mad god from history. He once asked, "Don't you think I have a vultus ferius?" A face of iron, a soul of iron. The boy who wore little boots had forged himself into a monster. Modern historians debate how much was true madness versus political propaganda by his enemies in the Senate. The 1920s draining of Lake Nemi proved the existence of his massive pleasure ships, confirming some accounts of his excess. Modern medical analysis suggests his illness may have been encephalitis, causing permanent brain damage and personality change. The treasury he exhausted would be worth billions today, spent on projects both magnificent and utterly useless. His legacy created the archetype of the insane Roman emperor, influencing countless depictions of mad rulers in popular culture. Key sources like Suetonius wrote decades later, often repeating sensational stories that may have been exaggerated. His reign remains the ultimate case study in the dangers of absolute power, combined with mental instability. So complete was his damnation that surviving coins with his image are extremely rare, most having been melted down. His ships were engineering marvels, the largest floating wooden structures built until the Renaissance. Some scholars suggest his madness was a calculated strategy to break the power of the Senate and consolidate his rule. His reign demonstrated the Praetorian Guard's power to make and break emperors, setting a dangerous precedent. In just 4 years, he demonstrated how quickly absolute power could corrupt and destroy both a man and an empire. His body was cremated and his ashes quietly buried, their location unknown, preventing modern forensic analysis. For 2 millennia, his name has served as shorthand for the worst excesses of unlimited power and human cruelty. He remains one of history's most compelling monsters, a warning written in blood about what happens when there are no limits. Who do you think was history's most brutal ruler? Share in comments and subscribe for more explorations of history's most monstrous figures.